Is a husband liable for his wife's stock market loss? You would have seen this headline doing the rounds, and this is based on the recent Supreme Court decision, which I promptly went into. So it's a super interesting case. Let me tell you all about it. First of all, the case pertains or has relevance to spouses, so I'm not being sexist here. Even if the husband makes a loss, is the wife liable? Is an equally valid question that comes from this case. So, what is this case? What happened? Um, this is AC Choksi versus Jatin Pratap Desai. Mr. and Mrs. Desai were a couple who were trading way back in the early 2000s during the dotcom bubble. And there was a leverage or loan taken for the wife's account, which is why the wife's losses just ballooned. And because of a bad trade, the dot-com bust, and it came to a staggering minus 1.18 crores. Now, the broker, of course, took the balance. There was some balance in the husband's account, so he adjusted that against the wife's liability, but it was nowhere enough to meet this loss of 1.18 crores. So the broker filed an arbitration case under the bylaws of the Bombay Stock Exchange. And the arbitrator found for the broker, saying that actually the husband is liable because there was an oral agreement that the husband was also operating the wife's account. It was as if it was a joint operation, and the broker was able to produce witnesses to that effect. So even though it is not written down anywhere that the husband is accepting liability for the wife or that this was some kind of joint operation, but he had, through his words, conveyed that it was a kind of joint operation. And for example, when the wife was not there, she was out of town, etc., husband was operating the account, which is why the broker filed the case. Now, the broker won it in arbitration. The couple, of course, filed an appeal, and the appeal first went to a single judge of the Bombay High Court. Now, remember the timeline here. So, 2001 is when the loss happened. Arbitration was fairly quick. Then, 2005, the single judge of the Bombay High Court again found in the broker's favor and held the couple liable to pay. The couple further appealed to a bench of the same High Court. Now, this bench took a long time to decide. We have to fast forward all the way from 2005 to 2021 when the High Court bench ruled on this matter. And they reversed the single judge and therefore the arbitrator also. They said that these are two separate individuals. You can't hold one liable for the other. And the broker cannot invoke arbitration against the husband when the agreement between the broker was between the broker and the wife. And there was a separate agreement with the husband. So on that technical ground also, the bench of the High Court rejected the broker's case and filed for the couple. You can imagine the relief after that many years of litigation and lawyers' fees. But of course, the story doesn't end there, as happens in India. So we move on to the next stage of litigation, which is the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court reversed the High Court bench and said that yes, there was an oral agreement between the couple and the broker, and the couple is in fact liable to pay 1.18 crores plus interest at 9%, which presumably goes back all the way to 2001. Now, first of all, this tells you how absurd our legal system is, that it took something like 24 years to decide on this particular case. I don't know how old the Choksis are right now or how much money they have, but for anyone, it's going to be a tall order to pay 1.18 crores plus 21 years of compound interest. The second thing to keep in mind is, can this thing happen today? Can it happen to you? Now, thankfully, the regulations have improved since 2001. There are strict SEBI rules about call recording. So when you place a trade, they have to make sure that whoever is giving that instruction is the client and that call is recorded. And also there are strict rules about margin trading and the kind of losses you can make. So way long before you incur a 1.18 crore loss, the broker would have closed out your positions and you would not be in a situation where the broker has to file a case against you. Hopefully the system will work in a way that this does not happen. Now, But in case something of this nature happens, in case you face financial litigation or domestic litigation, marital litigation, one smart thing you can do is to keep some of your money in investments which cannot be attached by any court in India. What are these investments? So there are three investments which are given protected status. The first is the balance that lies in your employees' provident fund account. This, by the terms of the EPF Act and the rules, cannot be attached by any court in India. The second is the balance that lies in the PPF account or a public provident fund account. This also cannot be attached by any court in India. The third is the balance in your NPS or National Pension System account. Again, this under the PFRDA exits and withdrawals rules cannot be attached by any court in India. So in case you are faced with or you have the threat of this kind of thing happening, it is smart planning to have some money in these kind of instruments apart from your core portfolio.